Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening blessings and salutations to the L and E Crowda people.
You all in your greetings. How's everybody doing tonight?
What it do? What it do? What it do? Who we got? Who's on? Or is
Nicole.
it too
Hi,
early?
Nicole. Welcome. Nicole got gas
Which
prize for
Nicole?
always being here early.
I know, right? A participation
She sure
prize.
does. She sure does.
She better than us, right? I think she'll be earlier than me and Louis.
I think
Yeah.
so. I will
Cool.
agree. Huh?
That's your sister.
How is everybody's day today?
And of course, Grant Lee is on. Thank you, Grant Lee, for coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently. What's big? Yeah.
How
It was.
was
It was. It
everybody's
was a good
day
day.
today?
It's a
Good,
good day. It
good.
was Thursday.
Me and Lucian were trying to diet today.
Oh yeah?
No, he said he was starting one last night, and I claim I was starting one maybe 3 weeks ago. So whatever. It'll be successful one day. I I bought some smoked salmon from, I'm not a seafood person, but I bought some smoked salmon from the market,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to eat because, but it actually was good. It was good. So
How did you cook it?
it's cooked already. It was smoked, so I just had to
Oh,
heat it up, and then I made it with some homemade French fries, and I burned the French fries to death.
you eating
So
healthier and you eat French fries?
all I had to that was a smoothie,
Okay.
So,
and yeah,
so
and I
safe,
do need some carbs.
safe to
Good
say,
evening, Norma.
it is your thing.
Hey,
We're gonna stick to
Norma,
that.
Shemet. What you said, Louis? You cut out.
That's what it is.
Yeah, you cut out.
Bacon is your thing. Am I coming in choppy?
Just a
Yeah,
little
you're
bit.
coming in a
Am I
little
coming in
choppy.
choppy?
Yeah,
Yes,
you.
sir.
Yes, you are, and
A
you
little
rude because
spotty.
I
You know
could
what?
cook.
I'm gonna change the vibe. I, you're the one said that you messing up your stuff. I didn't. I'm just going along with you, bakeress.
Yeah, I did burn it really bad. So yeah. After I stand up there and cut down, peel the potatoes and all of that, and then I burn them down. Yeah.
You're allowed.
Wow.
You're allowed. I think you're allowed to.
That was
You
that
know,
was
you probably.
intervention, divine intervention. That's why.
Hmm.
Why, Debbie? Why? Tell me why.
Anyway, because you just
No,
said
because,
that you want to eat healthier and then you're having French fries. But anyhow, um,
or to keep yourself from poisoning yourself. You know what I'm saying? So everything happens for a reason.
Okay. Whatever. Whatever.
well, tonight our topic is kind of juicy. Whether we end out the month of February on a light-hearted topic. Um, I'm hearing somebody's feedback. Um, so our conversation, as I posted, is tonight is on whether or not pornography and the use of other items in a relationship or marriage, um, does it have an effect, be it good or bad, um, for relationships? And it's a big topic. Actually did some research, and there is a research, scientific research that was done. I'll share that later, regarding the use of it. But at the end of the day, I think anything in excess is always going to present itself to be a problem. Um, Again, I want to reiterate for everybody who's looking, we are friends having a conversation. We had a background conversation yesterday with some additional friends. Um, we are not professionals. But at the end of the day, these are conversations that are lacking in our community. You know, people just live their lives and don't intentionally think about these things, either entering into a relationship or in a relationship. Um, and so that is why we are having this discussion today, because again, we are creating legacies for ourselves, our families. So tonight, I'm gonna pick Mr. Llanos to talk
You
first.
make me nervous, Miss, and I thought you were gonna pick me. Golly, my heart starts to beat.
Um,
Yeah,
what
I
do
was
you
putting my
have to say
I
about
was
this
putting my
topic?
glasses like I got to see why he's saying. Anyway, um, pornography. You know, it's a broad topic. It's actually it's in some instances it's considered taboo. People don't like to talk about it. It's like they don't want to mention it, but it exists. It's extremely prevalent. The topic, of course, being is it no? You said pornography and what else? You said something else.
Pornography and the
You meant
use of
toys,
other
devices, dildos,
devices.
dolls,
Exactly.
you know, things like that.
Yes.
So, so yeah, like I said, it's prevalent. It can be, and like you said, anything in excess is considered abusive. You know, I mean, it's just too much. It's not good. But whose definition is that? You know what I mean? Somebody might think that, hey, you know, this is it works for me. It works for my marriage. Works for my relationship. We're cool. We talked about it last night, and of course, my question was, at what point in the relationship do you actually have that conversation about pornography? You know what I mean? At what point in the you know, is that at the beginning? Is it after the first time you have sex? You know what I mean? Do you introduce it before so that you can actually enhance? You know, some for some folks it's comfortable, for some it's not. Um, I personally don't have a problem with it at all. Even with, you know, when you incorporate using toys in your relationship, I think it's a good thing. I mean, you know, I mean, it's going the extra mile, and I think it's like being in that exploratory phase and trying to try new things with your mate. You know what I mean, with your girlfriend. You know what I mean, or your lady or your wife or whatever. What I do know, I mean, you know, and I did not necessarily wish it, but I did look it up. The pornography industry, believe it or not, is a $12 billion a year industry.
It is.
12 billion. Let me say that again. $12 billion a year industry. That's more than, and you can Google this. It's more than the major media conglomerates combined. NBC, ABC, and CBS. That's more than all three combined. So that's heavy. You know what I mean? So that says a lot about the porn industry, that people do embrace it, people do acknowledge it, and people do actually people are a part of it, and and it's quite an experience. I think, you know, at some point we all have definitely experienced some form of pornography, whether it be your own filming at home, which I think is dope, by the way. It's dope stuff. um, or, you know, whether you go online, there's a lot of free sites, you know, things like that that you can go visit. So again, you know, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. The use of toys, I don't have a problem with incorporating that with the marriage or the relationship either. Go ahead, Debbie. You got about look like you want to say something.
I have a question. In terms of creating and building a better uh intimate relationship, do you think it's fundamental to it? I mean, and again, this is your personal view, or do you think like if it was a choice of one of the partners that they didn't want to indulge in it, that it would adversely affect the relationship?
That's a good question, and it goes back to my saying: at what point do we have that conversation? You know what I mean? It's you got to introduce it at some point, because you wouldn't know unless that conversation is had. Do you have it early out? Do you have it during the relationship? I personally, I would introduce it early on. I got to feel you out, see where you at. You know what I mean? I mean, it'll be in conversation. We may not have had sex yet, but I would definitely mention it and try and say, hey, what's your thoughts on this? And I think it's a conversation that should be had, because, again, like I said, it's a $12 billion industry. Know that this is happening. It's not going anywhere. It's only growing. So it's
Right.
what you do with it and how you use it to your advantage in your relationship. I think it's and again, some people may feel otherwise, and that's cool. That's why that's the beautiful world that we live in. Everyone has an opinion, but I don't see absolutely anything wrong with it. I think it'll definitely enhance any relationship. I mean, once again, you don't overdo things like you said, but I think I definitely would engage for sure, and I would encourage anyone to probably, whether it's a learning tool or whether it's something that, like I said, you could film yourself, and I think that's hella dope that you could learn from that also. You know what I mean? And it's exciting. It's something different, something new. If it hasn't been done before, try it. Try it.
Okay. I'll come back to you. Um, we have a we have a guest that is joining us tonight.
Oh,
Um,
we are.
I would yes, I'll be bringing him in, Mr. Robert Moorhead. Um, he's one of the members in the group. So I'm gonna bring him in, and then I want to go to Trina and ask you the same question. Okay.
She looks so uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah,
Good evening, Mr. Moorhead.
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
good evening.
good evening, Mr.
Brother
Moorhead.
Moorhead, how you doing, man? How's everything?
I
How's
am
everything
blessed
with
and highly
you?
favored. Thank God, thank God. Yeah, I mean, you almost sound like you
Indeed.
didn't want me to come in, man. You were shocked when you hear you got guests.
No. Because I didn't know we were having a guest tonight. I think it's exciting when we have a guest. It's
Well,
definitely
Mr.
exciting when we
Moorhead
have
was
a
there
guest.
last
I mean,
night.
that's it. Yeah, so we didn't know that you were going to be on. Well, I didn't know. Did we talk about that as him being a guest? I didn't know.
Well, I
He
Not
could
was
that
do
he
there,
it.
said
he
anything.
was there last night. Okay, Louis. Louis, I was
Okay.
sleeping on the job. Oh
Well, we
God.
well we gonna it might be the shot, but anyway, we gonna go to Trina, and
Oh,
then yeah, and then sorry, that was a low blow, but Miss
I'm built for it.
Trina, what is your take on whether or not what effects it has on relationships? Um, and again, I have some more questions, but we'll leave it at that for right now.
Well, I had to approach this from a scientific standpoint. I had to do a lot of research, so I asked a lot of questions to get a lot of views. When I first started this whole thing, when I first heard it, I just had to do some research. So I asked a lot of questions, right, to come to a conclusion. Yes, it could enhance a relation. Okay, Lucianne.
So what kind of research exactly did you do? Did you some in-depth research? You use some videos, some like the actual products, like what kind of research did you do?
My niece actually told me that I should go to the store and look and see what kind of toys was available. Like she was like, Auntie, you just need to go to the store and see what's out there. I asked all kind of people. I asked different ages, males, females. My niece, my daughter, and my niece suggested I go to the store and check out what kind of toys they had to. Anyway, I tell her I ain't going, so just let me end the story right now. But and that was all your part of the research. So I asked Christian people, non-Christian people, I just asked all kind of people, what do you think? Again, it was interesting and it was actually fun to actually, have this discussion. So what I could conclude is that it can enhance a relationship. One of my neighbors was gonna come on and be a guest, but she was working late last night and she didn't get to come on. She's married. She was married for 23 years. She is married for 23 years. She said they do the porn, they do the toys, it enhances their relationship. She believes, and a lot of Christian people believe, that you should do it with your mate. If you're not doing it with your mate, it's considered cheating. I don't ascribe to that theory, but that's what I've heard. I've heard many people say that. Yeah, Louis.
What's considered cheat? If you don't do it with your mate, in other words, if you do it by yourself, you're cheating on your mate. If you do it by yourself, is that that's
Yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah. That's what a lot of the Christians say. Yeah. Yeah. so yeah, so they say you do it together, again, I don't believe that, I think porn is like anything. Okay, it enhances the relationship, right? Yes, it could, right? It could hinder or it could harm, right? I mean, it could enhance or it could harm. I look at it like alcohol, like drugs and alcohol could do the same with relationships, with sex. I've never had the experience. I've heard, if people use drugs or whatever, or alcohol, it's like having wine with your mate on a date night, whatever, it could be enhancing, but then again, things could get out of control. People can have addictions. We have to admit the fact that porn and these things can become addictive. So yes, it could enhance, but then there is the other side. There is the dark side of it. So I don't want to just sit on here and highlight the great things. There are great things. If you would have made for a lot of years, like people said, they don't want to do the same thing. They get bored. I understand from that perspective. But now we have people who are in relationships where porn and these things have caused divorce. They have caused problems. We have people in society, we have pastors, we have a lot of people who are addicted to porn. This is something that do exist. A lot of males have the problem, but so does females. So again, and then there are times where because people use these outside things, like that post I put up with that man who don't even want a human being no more. He just wants a doll because she gonna do exactly what he wants. Yeah, I know it's like, look, Mr. Moorhead shaking his head, but this is also a market, and it's getting bigger and it's getting better. People who have money, $20,000 to invest in a doll, men or female, they're buying it. This is a reality. So that's my position on it. Yes, it can, but then there is a dark side to it. And we got to look at the pros and cons and everything. We can't just highlight what we want because, again, we know alcohol, we know drugs. It has an effect, good or bad, if not handled properly.
Okay. Thank you.
That was
Ms. Trina.
beautiful. Thank you. I love the whole explanation of it. Thank you so very much.
So,
Whatever.
Mr. Downs, would you like to take the reign here? Your
Thought
view
you'd
on it?
never, thought you'd never ask.
And
Anyway,
wait, and also in you answering this question,
yes, ma'am.
do you think that it builds it increases the intimacy in a relationship? If so, why or why not? And at the end of the day, why would somebody choose to be, participate in it in a relationship?
So let's start from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that porn can be used as a teacher. I think that I used it. Yes, I did. As I was growing up, because it taught me some moves. It taught me how to do different things, and I went out there and it blew some minds, and it was great. You know what I'm saying? I think that it can be addictive, as Trina was saying, and everything in moderacy. I think it becomes a problem when in relationships when one partner wants to control the other by saying like, yeah, you need to not watch porn, but then in the bedroom that partner is not like participating fully with that individual as well. So that's where it becomes like an issue, because it's like, if I want to try different things, you don't want to try different things, and here they are in the porn movie doing different things, I can pleasure myself, then why would you try to like rain on my parade? You know what I'm saying? I think that, in a relationship, if couples like watch it and then they participate in doing different things, I think that's all well and good as well. Um, People are just looking at porn, but then you're not looking at like strip clubs. I mean, strip clubs, I think, are a form of porn. I've known women who take their husbands and boyfriends to the strip club. They go to get lap dances, they get a little feel up here and there, and they go home, and that actually enhances their sexual relationship. So I think it all depends on the mindset of the individuals. and it also comes down to like an understanding. Like if you know that your man like porn, then and you don't want him watching porn, let's get the little cell phones out and make our own thing happen. Make it happen. I mean, why not? Because and then you could go back and replay it and okay, you know what, baby, next time we gotta do a little. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I've done this before.
Really? You sound like you have many
You
times.
sounded like you have. You sounded like an expert.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Wrong with that.
But I'm just
I have.
yeah, but it's anything to enhance your relationship. If you've been with somebody for like 15, 20 years and you ain't like adding no fire to that, to that log, then it's gonna the flame is gonna dissipate. You know what I'm saying? So you need
But
to
you can't be creative without having to add that to it.
no, but that's one of the that's one of the tools in the tool belt. You know what I'm saying? You have several things that you can use. So it's not just like the main. It's not the main thing, but it's just one of your things that you can go to. And as for toys, I mean, toys are like freaking. I mean, I know women that, especially if like a long distance relationship, it's like toys come in very handy. Because then you can kind of simulate sex while you're in a long distance thing going on. Call up your girl and be like, yo, boom, let's do a little something. And once again, that's where the understanding amongst each other comes in. Because if you saying you don't want your man to go out there cheating on you or whatever, wait, you calling me? You calling me,
You
Robert?
better not be doing nothing what? No, anyway.
I thought he was tired. You calling me? Do
Oh God.
so like so you just have to like once again. I mean, if you're in a long distance relationship, you all could do that. Video each other and enjoy each other's company. Because for you to say that you're in a long distance relationship and you're not having some kind of mental and two, like we were talking last night, the CCN is like it's very mental. It's all mental because you're not actually touching anybody, you're just visualizing and your mind is like reacting to it. So I didn't answer any of your questions, Debbie. I do apologize, but I think it kind of sums up everything within the context of what I was just saying.
Okay, I'll come back to you. And Mr.
Okay.
Moorhead, what is your take on the whole people choosing to use pornography and all the other extras to enhance their relationship, whether or not it can have. I mean, at the end of the day, we know that for some people it's going to be something that's going to enhance the relationship, and in others it's not. But what is your personal view on that?
Well, I hate being left out first and foremost. So I too, after the evening's conversation, I did some research. Uh, and
I hope it wasn't Louis research, but some actual research.
What?
it's kind of
The
your type
best
of
research.
research. I made some inquiries. This is a very large industry. I mean, from a business point of view, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, about $15 billion a year kind of deal. I'm here trying to see why guy my yard I could sell too. But we first and foremost, it is personal. And I agree from last night's conversation, I'm presuming tonight as well, that there must be some limitations as far as the individual is concerned to what extreme they're going to go.
Correct.
I am a licensed pilot, and never once have I ever thought of jumping out of a perfectly good airplane to depend on something strapped onto my back so that I could scream to the ground. Or the fact that I am African descendant, I don't want no rope tied onto any part of my body and I jump off no bridge. It's too close to hanging, you know. So, but there are those individuals that aspire and desire that type of stimuli, you know. But again, it's to at what point does it become detrimental?
Right.
not only to yourself, but then again to the relationship. And you know, as Louis has said, Janos has said, you have to have a conversation. I don't see how you could be in a relationship and not have a conversation, whether day one, day 20. I don't see the conversation, the
Never end.
first conversation happening after 25 years. You sit down and you throw up your hands. No, I'm mad with you because you don't want me watching porn. I'm tired sneaking around to watch my porn. You know, after 20 something years, you got to know where my stash is too. I'm presuming. Um, 'Cause when I was married, my wife had know where everything was, my ex. So it was almost impossible for that. You're in a relationship. If it becomes detrimental to the relationship, you need to reconsider. Do I want to continue with this? It's no different than, you like gambling. I don't gamble personally. But if it becomes detrimental for you, it's no longer fun. You waking up extra broke, you can't pay the light bill, you can't pay the mortgage, you can't pay tuition or whatever. You need to stop and say, well, okay, there's a possibility that I need to put the brakes on this. But
Right.
no different than watching, a movie, Netflix or whatever. It's supposed to be based on entertainment. Now, I can understand, Lucian's position where, you can learn things, but also please understand mine and only mine perspective with regards to that. When I am in the shower, whether it's a public shower, I ain't checking nobody else. 'Cause I ain't trying to embarrass myself. I got little tiny thing here going on, and I swear I is bit better than sliced bread. I don't want to see nothing 12 feet long dragging along the ground and things like that's embarrassing. You know, it make me want to check myself and this kind of thing. This guy
Oh,
all the way
God.
down like his ankle swinging and things like that. It takes 6 people to hold on to this. Say, this is a harpoon at that point. I barely got but a knife. So I ain't trying to shoot myself off like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
No, again, the different aspects of it. Yes, as far as toys are concerned, yeah, but I again can be a little ridiculous. I like the Yamaha 6 speed, from slow to oh my god, and everything in between. Um, but again, even to that, it needs to be communicated.
Right.
Now, most of you don't know from last night, I a little bit older than 2 or 3 are you. I ain't gonna call no names. Um, but,
Yeah, me for sure, because I still in my 40s.
you older than me.
And I'm in my 30s.
Listen, I'm at the age where 21 is the age.
Okay, so then Lucian is the oldest in the bunch then.
There you go.
Yeah. This is Die.
Yeah, that's what they know.
I'm a trendsetter. A lot of people following it. You see Lucian trying a little splash.
Yeah, there's some yeah,
Splash in the
He claiming wisdom now.
No, he don't want nobody to accuse him for the cougars he have, but that's beside the point. The thing, like I said, is each individual needs to be in a position. But if you're in a relationship, whatever it is, a non-marital relationship or whatever, you have to have the conversation. Are you comfortable with this? Look, I'm a freak in the night. Full moon, I just howl. Whatever it is going on with you, you need to say. So that,
no howling. That's scary.
well, listen, you should hear some snoring sometimes. I just want to figure out. I thought I lay down with another man. Like, dang, you snore like a beast. I don't see that. Oh, yeah, I think you recorded. You need to listen, tune in. Had a motorcycle pass going by the place. Well, what I'm gonna say, a bug or something went by. I outside, I hear the bug pass, but I still hearing this hauling in and changing gear and shifting up and down. When I got in, is you well comfortable with your hand over your head? Rah, rah, rah.
Oh Lord.
But it comes with the package. I
Correct.
was
Oh,
told that on occasions you have a little snickle. You don't really snore. You called it a snickle. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
you like a damn man. I know
Yeah.
Mac Truck are quieter than you. You know,
Mhm.
so
Wow.
you go broke half a piece. It comes with the package.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
so to say, well, okay, the young lady meets Janos. Janos say, okay, I just watch this thing, and she's fixated with Janos, but not listening. 2 months into it, he invite her over for a glass of wine or whatnot. She goes and turns on the TV, and he didn't take out the DVD, and wait, sorry, CD, and you know, the next thing she's, oh, I can't believe you would disrespect me like that. First and foremost, this my TV, my house. Secondly,
yeah, my place. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, you think like you come and meet a woman under the bed, you know, and it's a guy and a girl on the TV. I just watch it. Um, but again, missing the communication, missing that step in the communication causes all these problems to break down. If we're bold enough to say, I want to be with you, be bold enough to say the conditions that I want to be with you, my expectations. I
Correct.
want you to hold on to the ceiling fan and spin around while we make love, whatever. Okay, that's not for you, Lucian. Stop thinking about it. I'm watching you now. Thinking, how to hold on to the phone.
Lucian look like
Anyway,
he dreaming now, man.
I'm about to write that
Think,
down real quick.
no,
Oh
he getting ready
Lord.
to kind of contract that to circle reinforce that ceiling fan.
You right here?
no, but I mean, we have to speak. Last night, the conversation with regards to lingerie came about. But that can be twofold as well. I am not one that wants I mean, if I meet her with it, that's one thing. But when I am out on the street, and it doesn't necessarily have to just be lingerie, it could be anything. I want to be in a position where I go out and go, she would look really nice in this. And boom, I go and buy it.
Right.
And then I come home and I say, hey, I leave something inside it for you. You want to sport it off for me? Now, if after the fact she likes it, okay, I could care less. But for me, the lingerie was purchased for me. I bought it for you, yes, but it's for me to see. The visual stimulation with that, yes.
Enjoyment,
I mean, we have to look at it in its broad spectrum. Women just put on all kind of bath lotion, on the arm oil, eyebrow thing and all kind. It's to be pleasing too, to smell nice, to look nice. And what if it's your mate and she does all of this and you walk past her? You ain't sleeping good tonight.
Well, maybe
I
for the
don't.
rest of the week.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? I done gone and fix up for you and you ain't noticed nothing. I mean,
Right.
we shave and they notice. Oh, you shaved today? Yeah, the whole face. Okay, whatever. So again, it's to put the balance into it. But I will continuously go back to, if you're not communicating, then yes, the endeavor will be problems.
And you know what? Piggybacking on what you're saying, Mr. Mohead, I think it has to be appreciation also, because I think if a woman goes out of her way to try to, like, do the lingerie thing, do the smell good thing, you should, as a man, like, even though you might not like it, still give her some sense of appreciation. You know what I'm saying? Because then she took it upon herself to try to please you. And then y'all can have the conversation afterwards. I don't really, I prefer more skin than you were showing or something like that, but you still gotta be appreciative to what she's trying to do, and also him, if the guy is trying to do it as well.
Correct. Let me interject 1 second. Shemet, sorry, Gordon. She said, I think this is a personal preference compatibility thing. If both partners are okay with porn, it can be an enhancement. I've had issues with some men thinking that everything they see on film feels good to all women. I'm cool with him watching, but I'm not a porn star. I'm not trying to be an acrobat. So again, that comes back to the whole communication, because at the end of the day, what are you utilizing it for? And if it's part of your relationship, again, it's about, we keep saying this over and over again, having communication, having boundaries, and accepting people where they're at. if you really say that you care for this person. So go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's a little bit more than I think it's more than communication. I think it's also accepting your partner where they're at, because it's like Shamet said, she's not into certain things, and she has been in relationships where people expect certain things from her and it just ain't happening. And again, if we're looking at porn stars, like, the average woman ain't no porn star. We ain't got the capabilities and the experiences of no porn star. So can we deliver what people are watching and want to reenact? That's kind of steep and kind of intimidating to a woman. What about if a woman, and for guys, let me ask how it is. What if you find a girl whose appetite is even bigger than yours? What if the girl, she invites you over to the house, you have the conversation, and you go into her room and she got a sex dungeon with chains and ready to tie you up and hang you upside down? Well, Lucian, you look like you interested, but I like to take things to the extreme because why not?
Listen, Lucian was bought back with the fan, so.
But when we got like 50 Shades of Grey, I never saw that. Maybe that might be considered soft porn. I don't know. I never saw it. But
Miss Pinky, if I not to cut you, but your points are very valid and accurate. The consideration of it, like put it on the other person's foot. You want a porn star? Okay, great. The problem is, again, communication. I want a porn star only in my bedroom. But since you manage, give him the porn star outside of the bedroom. Be that porn star in the supermarket. And he will be so embarrassed by this, and he has to put himself in check. In other words, you buy sexy lingerie for the house, not for outside. But when you see somebody, the millenniums, maybe not. But when the carnival, the way the carnivals are now, people wearing the dental floss to go up and down the street. Do you want your woman outside in dental floss? Do you want your woman conducting herself in the street, in public, like she's a porn star? She hug up with everybody. She up under everybody. She like everybody. She bounce in somebody's lap. She's a porn star. That's what you say you want. But in actuality, what you wanted, because, again, the communication, I want you to be a freak in my bed, not in the kitchen. Well, yeah, okay, but not outside the house. Or on the porch.
Not outside the house.
Not in public.
Kitchen, all over the house.
Well, yeah, this I keep correcting as we move. But beyond the driveway, no. Okay, under the mango tree is about as far as we'll go. In Pueblo, in Plaza, no. You don't. Right. Listen, guys get offended when a woman knows. Debbie and I are married for 5 years. She knows Lucian for 20 years. Sees him in the supermarket. Oh, Lucian, hug him up. The first and immediate response in my mind is jealousy. I'm taken back. And depending on the character of the man, he let it go, because well, Debbie cool. She must know this guy. But later on, I said, but Debbie, who that was if she doesn't introduce me? But more than likely, she would say, this is Lucian. We go back to grade school. He used to dribble. He always holding on to the fan. These are the kind of things, again, communication. It doesn't have to necessarily be acceptance of the communication. Mm-hmm. Because, again, Debbie is younger than I am. She got a lot more energy, hence I need toys. So, you kind of playing into it. But we're communicating. Right. And I go, listen, after 5 times you on your own, hey, I just put batteries in these here. Go knock yourself out.
So, Mr. Moorhead, that wouldn't bother you though if you got to give her because you just didn't have the energy to keep up with her? Like, it wouldn't bother you that she needs these extra things So you could go get your rest?
What would bother me is if I am not communicating enough with her and she with me, that the next thing I know, oh, baby, I'm going out for a walk. I'll be back in 6 hours. I'm going down to the store. And next thing you know, she tie up with Lucian or Janos, to knock off the next 2 or 3 that she need. Put her back inside my room. I don't do my 5. Okay, we good to go. You
I
stay in
see.
here, you want me lay down next to you, man? I throw my foot over you and all. It ain't no big thing. You want me hold it? We hold it. No problem.
That's the part right. That's the part right there. Go ahead. That's the part right there. Incorporating it and, matter of fact, being a part of it. I would definitely be. I would, of course, I'd be there with you. I would assist you.
I don't want her to be confused, okay? 1, I from Frederickstead. 2, I don't have no locks on my head. 3, I love pork, okay? So I want her to think that I ain't gonna sit down to the table and yam. So
I agree.
Okay. I didn't know what is, he don't keep us engrossed because I didn't know where he was going with this. Okay.
I agree 100%. Head first.
Whoa.
I mean, but then there are those that feel that that is not appropriate. They're not comfortable with it. These are the things that you will go through.
But you know what? If
Go
you
ahead.
ain't doing it, somebody else gonna do it for them. Trust and
Well,
believe.
well, again,
Really.
for those, if you're one that doesn't believe in it and she does, you're gonna have a problem.
Yep.
But if you believe in it and she doesn't, she's not going to go anywhere to search that out. She's not going to let anybody do that. If she's not letting you do it, she's not going to let anyone else do it.
True.
But we have certain men that have this concept that it's good that you do it to me, but I ain't gonna do it to you.
Right. That's
You
selfish.
know, it's an even thing. And
Has to be.
with that, you could spend some time, and you're the best thing since sliced bread. You literally wanted to hold on to both your ears and think, who the heck you is? Where you come from?
Right.
And being the fact that I like to cook and whatnot, I am trying to create my own cream. I want the cream to just be all over the meat. That's how gravy's supposed to be.
Yep.
And then you
As it
fork
should
it up.
be. Yes,
You
indeed.
know?
Indeed.
Are we really talking about gravy? No, I joking.
Yes,
No.
yes,
Pinky.
But
we're talking about
so wait,
cream.
I want to say something. One of the things that we talked about last night with Cece was, again, that relationships are ever evolving. So one of the things, to me, of course, that you would also have to think about being in a relationship, being in marriage, is that people do evolve. And maybe something that they weren't interested in the beginning, they are 5, 10 years down the road. And again, it comes to that whole communication. It comes to that whole how much do you care about your partner that you're willing to go to a certain length to number one, create the bonding and the connection in the relationship to continue. And so that's something that people have to think about, because I know, Louis, you asked the question, when do you have the conversation? And of course you would have, I'm not exactly sure, but for everybody it would be different. You do have a conversation, but then the conversation is going to be ever evolving and continue through that relationship, because people do change and their interests and likes and dislikes change as well.
But I want to say something about that, because I did ask the question at what point that you do have the conversation. Here's the thing. What if, for whatever reason, you're the individual that decides to have the conversation at the beginning or in the early stages of the relationship, and now it becomes a situation where the female now is taken aback for whatever situation or for whatever reason, because she feels it's too early and she has a surprising sort of reaction to it, or if in fact it's something that's not for her and then she just disappears. I mean, what about that? Especially if it's somebody that you're into, 4 days in, and you present this, you ain't sleep with her yet, but you present this and it's somebody that you dig in. What about that? When I
Yeah,
said
but I
digging,
think
I
it
mean
also,
I don't mean literally.
I know, but I also know that you have to, Lord, you have to, I mean, you have to determine, is this a long-term, is this going to be a long-term relationship? Again, I think it also depends what kind of relationship it's going to be, that to have that discussion, because again, we have to start paying attention to people's cues. We have to pay attention to what people are saying, because sometimes I think we ask a question and we're hearing what we want to hear, but not necessarily what that person is really telling
Like,
us. Are people being honest about what they want? Because some people might say they're into it because they know you're into it and they're interested in you, but into the relationship now, the true person now, they're not interested in doing or being involved. So, I mean, again, that happens. But again, we talk about communication, but it's really, truly open, honest communication. Because you can have a conversation, but are both parties willing to understand and receive what the other person is saying? And
I don't
think
see
that's
the
a
problem with
conversation. I
going
think it's. Go ahead, Mr.
to,
Moorhead.
I don't see the problem with day one, whether I'm into or not.
All right.
I have lived long enough to understand that, even though we lived at the refinery, I didn't work at the refinery. And it's like going to a dance. I'm not going there to burn oil. If in fact she is not interested, move on. It's like door to door
Step to
sales.
the next.
It's door to door sales. Every door is going to open, yes, but not every door is going to buy. So
Yeah,
what do you do?
and
You don't need
if
to stand up and beg.
and if you're really into that and that's what you really like, and if that's what you need that kind of stimulation, I say it's good to have the conversation right up front and let the adults decide, whether she's interested or not. She'll let you know. If you scare the hell out of her, then hey, I mean, certain things would scare me, and I'd be the first to say,
But listen, let me, Nicole said, once a relationship becomes sexual or leading to that, the conversation needs to be had. Many guys speak about wanting a threesome, but when they're asked about a threesome with another guy, then it becomes too wild for the man. CC said, as humans feel more comfortable and empowered, they tend to be more open to adventure and the unknown.
he's right.
So,
I agree. I agree.
and then
Um,
Shemet also, wait 1 second. Shemet also said, wouldn't you rather open a conversation and see where your partner stands on the issue than not know their true feelings? Exactly.
Right.
Go
um,
ahead.
about the threesome thing. I mean, if I come into you that I want a threesome with a woman, we bring up a man for. We talking about it. We talking about me wanting a threesome with you and another female. So I don't know
Yes,
why females
but
use that as a
no,
right,
she complies. She complies and
right,
gives you your female. Two
right.
weeks later, she said, that was great. That threesome was great. I want Janos to come over and be a threesome with us too. You've opened the
Lucien, who she
door.
mean? Who she mean?
Oh, Father, oh goodness.
You've opened the door. So now,
Right.
now you're going to back down.
I think it has a level of maturity involved with threesomes, especially it depends on your partner, you know what I'm saying? It depends, like, to me, like, I would do a threesome with a woman, like with a woman who might have tendencies to kind of like curious about other females. Yeah, all day, every day. I would not do a threesome with a woman who might say, well, you know what? What about us and this other dude? Because I don't want to be,
But
me
what
there.
happens when she says that?
What what I'm saying?
She's complied to your wish and aspiration. What happens now when she's asking you to do the same? It is no different than oral. Oh yeah, you can do me all day long, but nah, I'm eating that ain't with you. No, 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 that thing smell like
Oh
fish.
no. Not I have no problem with that. None whatsoever.
So
At
you
all.
don't have a problem with some things, but you have a problem with other
Problem with
things.
others.
And see,
Correct.
that's where I quite like, where do we draw the line?
No,
Like,
but why does the line have
Individually,
to be drawn? Why does the line have to be drawn?
individually, you cannot draw
exactly,
the line.
individually, but relationship wise, because if you go ask somebody to swing from the chandelier, Lucian, If you like that, you better be willing to get yourself up there and swing from that chandelier also.
No, no. The thing about it is, if I comply with something that you like, then I think it's fair to comply with something that I like.
So
I mean,
then
it's
you
all
need to
about
comply with the
Exactly.
threesome for her.
That's what she's
No,
saying. That's what she's saying.
but if she's not into that, and that's
But
fine.
what if she is?
Let's talk
Okay.
about you, Debbie. I didn't hear you
No, no,
even
no, no,
answer
no,
my
no,
question.
no, no. I'm not
Don't
finished.
change it
I
on
am
me,
not
Debbie.
finished.
Let's talk about you.
I am not finished. In addition to that, is that a question that you would ask with somebody who you see yourself with long term or getting married to, or is that something that you would be posing to someone who is just a little fling?
Once again,
So now we getting into the poly vibes.
No, but there you have to kind of be careful with that as well, because there are husbands literally who bring men over to be intimate with their
yeah,
wives while they watch.
yeah, they do.
That's stimulating to them.
Yep.
Correct.
I told you I did some homework.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it on TV. Don't get me wrong, but you know.
So you've watched
No, but
porn then?
again, to say that because the boundaries or the limitations of marriage, that's not acceptable. There are males who go to the extreme, to make sure that their wife is satisfied. They don't feel that they could satisfy their wife. They literally bring someone in to do that. And they're in a committed long-term relationship.
Mm.
They're married.
Once again, that takes like a sense of like you have to have a lot of confidence and just be like, you don't feel like insecure whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm insecure or something. Maybe.
A
Maybe
little
let me
bit, a little bit.
we were talking about research, right? I did a little bit of research today, and
Oh, you just want to show off now.
one of the things that it said was in regards to how it affects marriage, was that there's a societal standard and then there's actual scientific research. And the societal standard says, and of course, I didn't look at thousands and thousands of articles. There were many, but not thousands. It said that this was just a few examples of what the society says, that all men look at porn, men can't help themselves, but it's how they're built. Looking at porn is normal and okay. You should never ban porn from your relationship. Women's feelings don't matter. At least he's not cheating on you. You should join him so he doesn't feel guilty for doing something wrong. Porn is harmless. That's what the society says.
No. That's the Nathan caveman society you ain't gonna get a survey from.
Yeah,
No, it
exactly.
wasn't. No, it wasn't an old survey.
Because I
It wasn't
told
an
her
old survey.
I didn't say old survey. I meant,
Right.
these
Oh,
they live
but
under a
again, I
rock.
don't know. I don't know. I know that they said that they surveyed over 2,000 people.
All
But again,
chauvinistic.
2,000 of what population?
All
I am not sure.
chauvinistic. The woman's her opinion doesn't matter.
exactly.
That's
What
what
we're
they're
doing, walking
saying, like
around
an
with clubs and beating you
overall
over your head.
I want to
societal
know.
norm. I'm just
Yeah, but
reading
what
what I
society
saw.
and what was the age bracket?
That's what I'm saying. It didn't it didn't give me like who these people were that were polled when they asked this
Uptightville,
question, right?
Yeah.
Then it says what science says about
That's
it.
true.
It says the truth is porn is not harmless. Porn actually destroys marriages, and that's what the overarching. And it was saying that they polled, I think it was like 200 divorce lawyers who said that 2/3 of marriages that ended in divorce ended because of a result of pornography
That's not true.
for various reasons.
Yeah, that's not true.
it's the
But
same.
it is a
We're in
problem.
the same village. I'm not
It
sure.
is a problem in many. It is a problem and the cause of many divorces. Again, I'm sorry, Lucian, and I'm not trying to. I'm just talking about these cases. It is. Like we just have to accept it. the fact that it can be harmful as well as it can help. We just gotta accept that fact.
No, I
We can't say that alcohol, or we can't say, I mean, we're gonna always have these arguments. Should we legalize marijuana or should we not? These is facts. Like, it can be harmful. They can cause family breakdown. I'm gonna say family breakdown. It can cause so many problems. Again, it is the individual. So if a woman never, engaged in any of these things, but she has an addictive personality, that could be very downhill for her. She may not have ever done it, but she has a problem. She has an addictive problem.
But what I'm saying is,
we have nymphomaniacs in our society. We have these things, Lucian. Let's just,
I did not say that we didn't, but I'm
No one
saying
is denying that.
Third?
Pinky. No one is denying that.
2/3 of marriages.
a lot of marriages are destroyed
There
because
is there's a reality. No,
Yeah,
there is a reality with regards to the marriages, and I'm not going to go into the up and downs of it. Yes, it may be a cause, it may be a contributing factor.
Yeah.
To say that somebody would divorce solely for that, then that individual
That's the part
has
either.
gone beyond the limit. They've lost control. That addictive personality. They're no
Right.
different than somebody on drugs, somebody addicted to
Right.
alcohol, somebody
Right.
addicted to food. They've gone to the full extreme.
right.
And
Correct.
to say that they don't exist is like saying that nymphomaniacs don't exist. And there's nothing wrong with it.
I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying that the number 2/3. That's a lot. That's high.
You see, the
Well, I
problem
would be surprised.
That's why I know where the
The
information coming from.
the public survey didn't take into consideration the woman. So
Right.
obviously there's something skewed about this particular survey.
Exactly. I know.
but-
It could be one of the factors, but not the factor in the relationship dissolving. That don't make no sense. That's crazy.
Don't say it can't be the factor. It can
Right.
be if you're dealing with a addictive personality.
And it can be dependent on the mindset of the individual. If somebody believes that pornography is wrong, I mean, when I was doing my research, I heard stuff like, I've seen stuff like masturbation is demonic. If you have people that believe this, that's what they believe. Like, and I'm not saying it's one person. I'm saying, so that's why I didn't even try to even go from it from the Christian perspective, because I was like, you got too much people with too much theories. It got people who were saying, it had Christians that saying toys is good. Then you had other Christians saying that toys is, you're gonna go to hell. Like, if you are teaching these things, then this is what people, so you might just like soft porn and your mate catch you and they think that you got a problem, and you may not have a problem. You know what I'm saying? It all comes down to how you view things, how open you are to certain things. So we can't say we don't know, or it may not, or it can be, because again, these is individual cases, right? With individual people, with individual preferences.
I got a question. Got old enough to ask. I have listened to plenty music in my life. I understand soft rock and I understand hard rock. I don't understand what soft porn and hard porn. Ain't porn?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so please, for me and the rest of us that are listening and want to hear the artists explain this one, tell me
So
lose the fan for a minute and tell us the difference between hard, medium, and soft porn.
So soft porn would be more like your stuff you see like on Lifetime, the kissing, the petting.
That's not soft porn.
Okay,
Wait, Pinky, unlike both of us, need to just stay here quietly because neither of us have a clue. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Moorhead, you don't have to comment out.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moorhead, because I don't know what like. Anyway, and then they show, like, they don't show body parts.
You know what I'm saying? As you go into like, you go into like an X-rated, you know what I'm saying? You'll see body parts, but then you wouldn't see like, like you wouldn't see them doing certain things in the porn. Then you go up to like a double and triple X where you start to see like more outlandish stuff like, anal and
The
you know
hardcore stuff.
hardcore stuff. You know what I'm saying? So there is
So, so
a
hold on a
difference,
Agreed.
second. Let me ask to make sure I get clear. So 1X,
right?
technically I could carry my teenager because it'll just be smooch smooch and you
No,
know
I wouldn't do that
No,
maybe
no, no,
for
no, no,
maybe
no, no,
maybe
no.
a wardrobe failure. But once we get to 2 and 3 and 4, I should expect that I need goggles and face mask because it may splatter
Oh,
all
that
over.
it gets a little. It gets the more X's, the more crazy it
Yeah,
gets. You know what I'm saying?
I sure
Like
hope.
but soft porn is more like soft porn doesn't have like an X rate. It'd be like an NC-17 or
But
something. NC-17.
no, it might be.
Okay.
It might. No, it could be. It could be those movies that used to be. I think it was on HBO, like at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, or Cinemax, or one of them. And you see
Yeah,
them
yeah.
like
So
kind of
that's
like
not
humping. You
soft
see
porn.
tits and everything, but you don't see any actual intercourse. So that's like medium, I guess. I don't know if that would be because they have that also. And of course, then when you actually gain to see the actual penetration, you see in the intercourse, then you gain into the real porn. You're seeing all
So
the different tricks and all of that.
so Erica on One Life to Live was soft porn.
Right. Right.
Really?
That's soft?
Okay,
I don't
because
think so.
CC just said soft porn is not explicit. It don't show. He said
Yes,
it doesn't display nudity.
You're right.
No,
I mean,
I think
Erica
it
some of
said
them
does. I
do.
just think I
Yeah,
don't
some
think
of
it
them do.
displays intercourse.
Oh,
say
You
again.
don't.
see,
You
yeah,
don't.
I didn't
You
know
don't
what it
see.
was. You're right, Mr. Moorhead. You're right.
Like you
I
don't see
thought,
things going into each other in soft porn. You don't see everything going in. It's just like
Right.
you just seeing
You don't
breasts.
see the display of intercourse.
Yeah, you might see
So
some
again,
titties
it
or
was more the One Life to Live, Stormy Bed kind of thing,
right.
soap opera, porn,
Yeah,
and
pretty
then
much.
you have the where you got to go in the theater and they lock the doors behind you, and
Right.
according to you, we go to town.
There you go. There you go. So the more you go to town, is the higher the X's them get. Pretty much. Yeah.
now you understand why I don't want to see another guy with a harpoon.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
okay, so I just learned something else because I thought soft porn was at least rated R or X or something. Yeah,
We have
yeah.
NC-17 now too, so they show you. Yeah, exactly. Bridgerton sex. That is soft porn.
Who?
Oh, that was good. That was good though.
Oh, it was good. It was good. You like that. You like
Wait,
that.
you like Bridgerton sex?
Yeah, Bridgerton, like you have this
It
show.
was it was good.
It was
No,
good.
Katie's down here saying it was good. It was, her eyes are. It was
I
good.
know, right? I know,
So,
right?
see, in 24 hours, you've already started softening her up to porn.
No, I saw that in January. Don't worry about that.
Oh, so you have latent porn in you. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Actually saw that in December. So-
Oh, we keep going back. You sure it
That's
wasn't
what
November
I'm
for
saying. Like,
Thanksgiving?
well, that means she keeps on watching it over and over again, Mr.
I,
Moore.
I didn't watch it over and over, but I do have a girlfriend. I do have a girlfriend that watched it twice because it was very, very good. So that was very good. Yeah. And I tend to rewatch it again. I do. It was
Well,
good.
Lucia, you'll get a number afterward. Don't worry.
That was that.
Beverly says she watched it and she watched it twice. That's the girlfriend I was talking about right there, but I don't want to call her out.
You just did.
She posted
She
it.
pointed to herself.
Oh Lord.
So we're talking
Yeah.
about what about toys? Like, if you're in a long distance relationship, would you consider using toys to spice it up?
Before you even get there, I have a question regarding toys. It doesn't have anything to do with us gentlemen because we don't know.
Right.
Ladies, the continuous and constant use of toys. Again, I did some research, but the continuous use of toys, does it desensitize you in your sensitive areas with this? Or because to me, one of the conversations we had in the studio this morning, because I had to ask some of the other hosts and whatnot there, one made it clear he uses toys, but he makes sure his is his size and smaller because he doesn't want his wife to become accustomed to something bigger than him, which I could agree. And like I said, I ain't in that harpoon thing, but it brought the question to mind. If, doing this, you know, does it overstimulate to the point where um, it is possible, and I don't know, that's why I'm asking, that you couldn't be satisfied by flesh, you need plastic?
Well, I know some of the things that I've looked up, it did say that that is one of the things that you have to be really careful with it. And again, everything is in moderation. That then the expectation becomes that if you get accustomed to using some sort of device, if your partner is not doing or creating that same kind of feeling that you're getting from there, again, that can cause problems because then the expectation is now that you want to get the same feeling from this object, inanimate object, and when you're with your partner, you're not getting the same feeling. And that can also cause that can be a problem again. But I guess it's are you using this all the time, or is this once in a while? Is this enhancement to your relationship, or like Lucian was saying, if you're apart from your partner? But at the end of the day, again, everything in moderation, because it can become like, you know, something that you're addicted to, and now that other person can never meet what that inanimate object is doing.
And you know
So
what? You know,
one one of the
piggyback.
You
stories.
can.
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Lucia.
Louis. Go ahead, Louis.
Well, he had
Well,
asked the
you see,
ladies. He
Pinky,
had
are you
asked.
Louis? Are you Louis, Pinky? Are you Louis?
Didn't Robert
just
ask the
real.
ladies? Didn't Robert
Well,
ask the ladies a question? Is Louis a woman? Anyway, go ahead, Louis. Go
and
ahead,
that's how
Louis.
Pinky. Go ahead.
Oh,
Quick, though,
wait.
back to the toys thing. Really quick, 'cause
Louis, 1 second before you go ahead. Nicole said, I believe it does, Mr. Moorhead. That is why I do not believe in it. A man should always be able to fully satisfy his woman. Go ahead, Louis.
I will not answer the
but
question.
toys will just
Let me
enhance
just
it.
say this before Louis go. Let me
Toys,
answer Robert. Say that again, Louis. Can you cutting out too, Louis?
Go ahead, Pinky. You
yeah,
said go ahead, right?
saying
One of the
that
stories
toys
I
will
had
enhance
come
it.
up. Louis, you cutting out. That's the problem. There's a
Go ahead,
like a
go ahead.
one of
Let me check.
the stories I came across many years ago in my youth, which has made I have never experienced that using toys and was against it or is we'll whatever. So what I'm saying is I have come across a story years ago in my youth where this woman used to be on her husband used to continuously have sex on the spin cycle of the washing machine. And if she had gotten so accustomed of that if it wasn't happening, he couldn't get her to that point and they weren't enjoying themselves. So this is just one story that I've come across in my life. But then the other day I was watching the doctors and they
The
were
washing
talking about
machine or the dryer?
the
The washing
spin
machine or
cycle and
dryer?
the spin cycle and the
Spin
washing
cycle.
machine. Yes, because it has it vibrates, right? See, people have all kind of fetishes. Like you laughing, Lucia. You want to be on the fan, so I don't know why you laughing.
I'm laughing. I'm more taking notes. That's why I'm laughing.
Perfect.
Another story I came across was a doctor. He was a doctor, and people were using for both males and female. They were using like the little electrical things they put on your muscles when when you go to the chiropractor. And so they were using that on the lowest cycle down in that area to stimulate. And the doctor was like, that's not a good plan. And they were like, well, if you use it and not use it often, it won't cause any harm. But if you use it on low and not for long periods of time. But if you use it on high and you use it for too long of a period of time, you will cause harm to the area. So yes, it can cause harm to the area.
So I had some issues, and I'm back. So I think I'm
You
doing
look
much
clearer
better now.
too.
Yeah,
you look
there was an issue. There was an issue with the laptop. but I was talking about the toys, and I don't know if anything was mentioned in regards to. I only think all it does is enhance. It doesn't take away. It doesn't detract. In my mind and in my experience, also we're at the stage and the age now where you can actually, and goes back to Lucian making the comment with regards to long distance relationships, where you can get a cast of your member, and you can have a cast of your females genitalia, and you guys can actually have that experience. That is new age, and that's what's happening.
Look at
Before
me.
that's after my time. I ain't know nothing about it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's where we at now. Though that's the time. That's where we at. That happens.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
think
You can get that right now, and it's also you can actually also get a cast of your favorite porn stars as well. And then this is again I did some research also, with the toys of course and other things. But know that this is the age and the day and the age that we live in that these things happening. You know,
so. Piggyback
definitely.
on you finished, Louis? You go?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
I
So,
just
as into your
situated in
question, of my extensive research,
Hmm.
I
here.
realized that when a female masturbates a lot, then it is harder for her to have orgasms through penetration because she is so used to stimulating her clitoris that the intercourse, it takes like a longer time for her to, as I said before, orgasm. So if a person continuously uses toys or whatever in that area, then it's unless of course accompanied afterwards with the penetration, then as you said with the spin cycle vibe, the body is not getting used to that stimulation. So then for it can cause a problem with the woman once again having an orgasm. So
But
go ahead, Louis.
no, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I think that once again, if toys and stuff like that in a relationship are used as a joint thing along with with your partner, I think it's a great thing. I think it becomes like an issue when you're not seeing somebody and then you're constantly like doing it by yourself, and then some women like, I don't need a man, I got a toy.
Well, well,
You know,
according to Pinky, if you with your mate and using a toy, you'll be cheating. So, are you cheating on me with yourself? That's what you're gonna tell them. That's what it is. You cheating on me with yourself?
But
Really?
yes, like
Who
even
does?
if you haven't, and I've heard this also, if you're having intimacy with your mate and you're thinking of Idris Alba, you're cheating.
Oh
anyway,
Jesus
so
Christ!
who said this comment?
Okay,
That's
wait. I gotta have a confession. I
Because I've
uh-huh.
been
sorry.
cheating. I've been cheating a lot. Then
Me too.
you know what I
A whole
mean?
lot.
A whole
I let
lot. Yeah.
everybody know from Jump Street, my ex-wife, and it wasn't the cause for us separating. Um, I is a Halle Berry fan. I don't care who say what. She came to St. Thomas once. I leave my house, tell my wife, listen, see you when I see you. And until then, I ain't gonna see you. I went straight down to the airport. My youth group, we played to bring them in Sinbad, and all of them were there. We went out to the beach. She was at Megan's Bay. They brought her in. Sinbad and them came in on the boat. We were
Oh, that
playing.
was the tour, the Sinbad tour, the comedy tour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were hired. Our youth group was hired to play steel band for them. No problem. But when we got to the beach, and all of the boys there knew my take for Halle Berry. So the minute she hit the beach, I drop stick instruction and caring about other people cheering them, and I find myself up the beach. Sat, I had all kinds of pictures with her. We picked her up. I didn't bathe for 16 months. We just it was that was the thing. So I let my wife know.
Man,
Anytime you mess around, I gone down the road, I look in Halle Berry. So
Halle
she
Berry
let
is
me
you
to
in
know.
bed for 16 hours. You could have just go stay with Haley Berry.
16 months.
16
I
months,
know,
Pinky.
I know he said 16 months. I said for
Okay.
16 hours. That just so you gone with Haley Berry.
Yeah, but
16
the
days gone.
forward Tatolian that I had there let me to know. I could Halle Berry all I want. The minute Denzel come, she bringing him off the plane.
Mhm.
So,
Wow.
I could live with it. But again, it's communicating as well.
Yeah, you got Haley Berry. I would have had a list for you on that. I said, sorry, honey.
So
But hey,
kind of
I'm monogamous even with my stars.
So somebody made this comment. That's what man mouth there for, Lucian Downs.
That's
So
What?
Nicole.
that's Nicole. Okay. So so
Uh-huh.
so like, what are our mouths for? What was she trying to? What was
You
she?
know
Because
Hoover?
I
Do
guess
you
you were
know
talking
Hoover?
about the toys.
Hoover?
Wait. Do you know Hoover?
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
Yes.
make your mouth a vacuum cleaner.
There you go. Like I said,
Oh, wow.
you got
You
diet.
Oh
know,
my
Robert, you really
goodness.
This,
look. I kind of slow. It'll take me a while to catch up to what you to be saying.
A long time.
I
A
want you to know
long time.
this, Lucian. This is just for you. The next time, if you want to know that you have been performed on well, you know how you tell? If she performs well on you, you have to pull the sheets out your butt.
Oh, that's what it is.
Ah, that's
Oh my
funny.
goodness.
Oh my God. Listen.
Lord. Well,
Hmm.
one of the things I did want to say at the end of the day, all of this is everybody's personal preference. Although for some people this is a taboo subject, it is
For
a
them.
conversation that needs to be happened
So sad
because
for
at the
them.
end of the day, we keep going back to the same thing. If you want a healthy relationship and you want to maintain a healthy marriage, again, it all comes back to the fact that communication is important. And it's really listening to your partner and understanding where your partner is coming from and being accepting of their truth, whether it's something that you really like or not. But, you know, if you want people to be honest, you have to accept whatever they say.
Selfishness
Talked
too.
about that last night, huh?
Selfishness also.
Mean what?
As in a sense, like, don't be selfish. Don't be a selfish lover. You know what I'm saying? Like, as Mr. Morehead was saying, if if your woman giving you head, then you should be doing the same thing. It shouldn't
Of
even be like a
course.
conversation.
Of course. Of
You know
And
what I'm
it's
saying?
course.
also like Robert says, if you want a threesome, then it's okay for your
Listen,
woman to.
we talking about that right now, okay? We talking about what we discussing. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know. I know you would have said that,
You know,
sure.
Pinky talking like that, and Pinky will be the first one that gonna run. So stop.
Exactly, exactly.
Stop right there. Just
Thank you
stop it.
very much, Louis. Thank you.
You
Sorry,
gotta
Debbie.
stop calling me out, man. Let me look like an adult. Come on, come on.
no, but I mean, and I don't know what the time frame is, but please afford me the opportunity to say that one, I enjoy the conversation. Two, it is important and imperative that when having any conversation, if we cannot be earnest and honest about it, then there is no need to have the conversation. I
Correct.
mean, we're talking about something that, according to you all, is taboo. Okay, I don't use the term. I'm gonna have whatever conversation I want to have. Sometimes people need to be uncomfortable to come out of their shells.
Exactly.
And a new friend of mine passed me a note, and they tell me, look, I understand what you're saying, but I don't agree with you, and that is
And that
okay.
is okay. That's fine.
Exactly.
That's perfectly fine. I'm not, oh, the heck with you. You don't want, no, no, no. Listen, I'm not trying to sell anything. Okay, well, yes, but not anyway. The reality being that this is good, and it is a perfect example of what we need to do tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold, because our young people coming up, you know, um, have to be in a position. I have, my first was a girl, and the strangest thing, when she went off to college, she met this sweetheart, whatever, whatever. We were on the phone once. She has two children. At the time, she only had one. And we were talking, and she started laughing on the phone. So I was like, "Hey, what's up? What's up?" Oh, Brian and I are here joking around. I said, hold on. Yeah, we on the couch here laughing, watching at the movie. I explained. I said, "Sai, you know who you're talking to, right?" Yeah, Daddy. Why? You don't understand. You're gonna be a virgin all your life.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You tell me, but what happened to Harlow? She gonna be a virgin too. Not because you have a daughter. In your father's eyes, you, Harlow, everybody that's female will always be a virgin. I do not want to know nothing about nobody enjoying you like I enjoy your mother. No, it ain't happening.
Oh gosh.
She thought it funny. My third child, also a girl. I think she was 10 or 11. Her mother must have had some conversation. So she come to ask me, well, how old can she be to have a boyfriend? And I told her, man, that's an easy calculation. 20 years after I drop down dead, you could have all the boyfriends. They don't
uh,
know. But again, they understand where I'm coming from. And I'm trying to prepare my daughters from a man's point of view because I cannot prepare them from a woman's point of view. I've never had a
right.
menstruation. I've never born a child. I could sit down and pretend, but more than that. And I know doctors, so I ain't going into the delivery room. I standing by the door. I'll be right there. I prop up. Ain't nobody else coming in. But since me, doctor, what I gonna do? Give him my opinion? Yeah, it look like coming out. No, yeah, he got you know.
I experienced that, but man, it's interesting to say the least,
Listen,
man.
my elder brother have videos of it. Want you to come over
Yeah,
and
yeah,
watch it.
yeah.
I
No,
tell you,
it's
this
it's
your wife,
it's
you don't even
amazing,
watch it.
man. It's amazing.
Let
I
it.
cut the card, everything, cut the umbilical cord, everything, man. It's
Mm-mm.
crazy.
I bury it when they get to me in the little plastic ziploc. We gone and in find a space and we bury it. But other than that, I am not a doctor. I
I'll
ain't
tell
a
you
guy.
one thing though. I'll tell you one thing. Once after experiencing childbirth, I have a very, very new respect for women. After
See,
that was just crazy to see how that thing
the,
just.
see
Really, Louis?
you're
I'm just
much
saying,
braver
it's.
than me, Louis. You're
I'm
much
I'm a
braver than
very descriptive person. I'm a visual person.
but you're braver than me because I do not want to see my favorite restaurant mash up. So I
Exactly.
try.
Hey, but that's the amazing thing about it. It just comes back, and I'm like, how does that happen? It's crazy.
Can
See, you want to be a doctor. See, that's why you ask them kind of question.
Oh Lord. Yeah, but
But
it but
no,
again,
I do want
piggybacking
to
on what
say,
you're saying.
I do want to
Go
say
ahead.
that I appreciate, the invite. It's a subject matter that I apologize that I'm not as hip as I maybe should be on it. Um, but I'm from West Lou, so I always got opinion. Um, the thing about it being is I truly, truly enjoy listening to the dialogue. I mean, the first time I saw you guys, together, Louis was manhandling Pinky and Pinky in return. So I thought, hey, that's great. It's dynamic. And there was no malice involved. But
Oh
the
no, yeah,
conversation was pure. The conversation was earnest. And, that is what we need. People need to be able to see this.
yeah.
It's not just females having the conversation. This isn't Mimosa Mondays where I just got a female point of view and it's wrong. It's not, just just
and
to
it's
that.
wrong.
Well, again, when I ask the
You.
questions, I ask questions specifically of females, specifically of males,
Right.
because I mean, as much as Louis may have video, he does not have the experience or the pain that they went through, and neither of the three of us that are here know anything about menstruation other than Jesus.
Right.
Don't forget the panty inside the shower, man. You know,
Oh Lord. True.
so there
True.
needs to be a conversation where we can interact with each other to give clarity. But
Right.
that is a practice for the relationships. Again, friendships are still relationships. And I
Correct.
Right.
have female friends that, can be questionable, if people see me with them. But I've known them all my life. They have families now, and their families are my family as well. I go over, I look for everybody, anything I can do, they could do, we all do. But again, it's because we don't have any barriers with the communication. Everybody is able to say, man, you just full of heck. Go give me my hair from that. Yeah. And we move on. There's no malice involved.
Right.
Or I misunderstood what you said. Did you really mean that you're going to hold on to the fan while, whatever. That is the beauty of what you guys are doing here. I
Thank
think it's phenomenal. I pray that you guys continue doing it. I don't know if you would ever invite me back, but hopefully you would do it on the previous week's subject where I feel a little thing, I could join and you know, rather than
Nah,
going
we definitely appreciate
We
your
try to hint
compliments.
in
We
so we can
appreciate your
remember.
comments, man. And we definitely thank you for being on. It's definitely a pleasure. And I think I think based on what we discussed here tonight, I think it's fair to say that we're gonna give Lucian a new name and we're gonna call him the Fan Man.
I like that.
So I think it's safe to say that
Oh,
Lucian, you could change
Jesus.
that to the Fan Man. So
Okay, I
thank,
will. I will.
but definitely, Mr. Samuel, we really appreciate having you, man, and we thank you for
Yes.
definitely the
Yeah,
commentary
thank
and
you
the
very much.
insights.
And
And it was
you said a lot that was very helpful to all of us. You know exactly what you're talking about. So don't even pretend like you ain't up on what's going on. You up on what's going on.
Listen, you hear me say I had to go do a little quick homework. So when you bring me here, I don't sound like I'm tripping over myself. Yeah, you know,
You
so
know, quick
again,
homework. I've been studying all week. Okay.
really.
Oh, Lord.
listen. I'm concerned about Debbie's research. Cause I don't know where in Baktusi went go find this.
I want to know too.
You
Well,
know,
Yeah,
one of the reasons why I wanted to state what that research said is only to be controversial, because at the end of the day, like I said, we don't know where those people were pulled from, what their experiences are, if it was all male, if it was all female, if it was, what their background is. So we don't know. But it's
circa
more
19
for,
it's
circa
coming from
1952 where that data came from. I mean, I don't know where you get that from.
Current, but it's Billy Bob and his family from the Bayou. He
Exactly.
married a
You know,
cousin
could
and
be,
he
it could
them kind
be.
of thing going on. Why
15
would
year
you,
old, yeah, 15-year-olds or something. That, yeah, we need to know like the age and the
yeah.
background. Because to me,
And
that's
but the fact that you're being dismissive of the woman's opinion in a relationship, that in
right.
itself is cause for problems.
Exactly.
Definitely.
You can't
Exactly.
be in a relationship and one or the other is dismissive. You know,
Right.
Correct.
to me, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Right.
Now,
Totally.
you
Oh
you
yeah.
can you can TMI, but I prefer that you TMI than you come up with this craziness that wait, your opinion doesn't matter. Oh, really?
Correct. Correct.
Exactly.
We live in the same place, so it must because yours does as well.
Right.
And you know
Correct.
what too? And that's very important, especially with in any relationship at this point in time for us not to take into regard how a female feels. Like to me, that's just like, like us as Korean men, we have this macho chauvinistic behavior, especially with the younger ones I see coming up to, like how to, deal with females. And if I see them, I'll be like, listen, you gotta understand, like, you and her are on the same like wavelength. You have to be. You have to understand that, it's supposed to be a team effort, not just how you feel, but how she feels as well. And that's a deciding factor of how long a relationship will last. Like with any team, if you ain't being supportive to your quarterback or something, guess what? They're gonna get rid of you because the quarterback needs that support. You know, so
And I think too, at the end of the day, we are looking for some healthy relationships. Nobody ain't looking to be miserable. Nobody ain't looking to be unhappy. And a lot of times we waste so much time trying to change people or trying to convince people of who they should be instead of just accepting people for who they are. And like you said earlier, Rabat, if it don't work between you two, then you just gotta move on to the next. But
right,
who wants to spend, and all of us are at, we've been through years of relationship or years, we have a little bit of experience and, we're a little bit older. Who wants to spend 10, 20, 30 years being down miserable? I mean, we ain't got 30, like my girlfriend tell me, thinking you ain't got 30 years left to be miserable. You know what I mean? I don't have 30 years left to be miserable. I have to enjoy the time that I have now. So we need to consider that when we're going into relationship, not that I'm not going to live for 30 more years. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is your youth is now. There's certain things you're going to do now in your youth. You're going to enjoy it. There's things what we were doing when we were 20 that we ain't going to be doing when we're 70. We just ain't going to be doing it. And it ain't going to be
Speak
the
for
same.
yourselves.
Well, it ain't going to be the same. right? So ain't gonna be the same. So
Thank
the
you.
point is, we want to be, like Debbie does say, intentional, and like Cece does say, mindful of what we're doing when we're going into situations. That's why the conversation is so important. That's why finding out if what you believe in and what I believe in, does it resonate, or the fact that, is it something that I am even open, willing to experiment, or, and if I'm not, is it okay? All of these things. Louis, the conversation man. I am on Louis'
Well,
side
it's
tonight.
interestingly enough. Can you guys hear me? Is there feedback? Interestingly enough, I had a conversation today in the barber shop with my big up to Buju, by the way. Big Cat Sounds, he's my barber also. And there was a young lady in the barber shop there. Shout out to her too. I think her name was Brianna. I think it was. Pretty toes, by the way. Her toes were kept. I mean, they were pretty feet. But what I tell her about the show, she mentioned something about pornography, and automatically my antennas went up, and I was like, wait a minute, you got a problem with pornography? She's like, oh no, I don't. I was like, oh, okay. Interestingly enough, and of course, I opened it. That was it. That was the what it said, icebreaker for me. I was like, well, we got a show tonight. You might want to come and check this out. You know what I mean? She's a younger person, but her insight was amazing with regards to pornography, because it goes back to younger generation. These younger people now, they're actually embracing it also. And again, it's I think it's an inquisitive side of them. I think she's somewhere, I don't even know, maybe between 23, 24, and maybe 27. But she was embracing it, and what she had to say, but I was like, yo, you should definitely come and check out the show, because I thought that was amazing. The younger generation,
I talk to some younger people too. And they really do embrace it. And the approach they're taking, which I really like, is the fact that instead, and I spoke to another friend of mine today, instead of sleeping around, instead of being with multiple partners, they will use, toys, which I understand and I get. So my mind got opened up, is what I must say.
Well, these are the younger folks, the millennials. They're into the .com era, so they have the information, they have the access to all of this stuff. You know what I mean? Of course, like Mohammed said before, you come in my house and I might got DVD in it or a CD in the player, but now you could go online and it's just there all over at fingertip.
Right.
So,
and that's
yeah,
that's why we will be having conversations as we go further along with younger people, because at the end of the day, you hear me saying all the time, this is not just for us. We are creating legacies. We have children, they have children. And so if we want healthier relationships for them as well, and why not have them be brought into the conversation as well? And so we will be having platforms where we do have the younger generation a part of this, because that's the hope, that this is not just going to stay with us, but they're going to be exposed to it as well, so that they can have the conversations and they can have the option to be able to be open to these conversations that we're having as the older generation, so that is something that will be upcoming, just so everybody knows. And again, I want to thank you so much for joining us, Robert. I know it was the last minute, but we really appreciated having you here. Actually haven't spoken to you since Country Day days, but it was nice definitely having you on. So I want to thank all the viewers again. Thank everybody for your comments. Thank you for listening, tuning in. Again, I'm going to reiterate, we have a YouTube channel, Love and Enlightenment USVI. I think we have like 22 subscribers. We need everybody to go over there and subscribe, because like I said, we never know with Facebook what could happen. And we stream live both on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So I want again to reiterate, we are still going through this pandemic, and I'm asking everybody to please be safe, use discretion, use protocols, and I wish everybody the best for the rest of this weekend.
excellent.
Stay home and watch porn.
Bye. Thank you guys for watching.
Well, that would have been a
coming.
nice exit. Do engage in porn. It'll help your relationship. So there you go.
Well,
A
at least
whole
you can't
lot.
get too corona with it. So, you know,
That's what I'm saying.
Oh
Get
gosh.
your
Good night,
Thanks again,
everybody.
folks, and thanks again, Mr. Moham. You
Thanks
guys take care,
again.
man.
I'll stay safe.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone.
Blessings,
Thank you
yes.
for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Thank you.
Thanks.